Picture this, a limited series that follows the story of Genesis but through the eyes of the women. The Faithful challenges whoever is watching it to think of Scripture in a whole new light. But does it live up to expectations? I've seen it, so let's talk about it. Now, I'm often skeptical about on-screen Bible adaptations, having seen way too many that are cheesy, preachy, underwhelming, but recent productions like The House of David or The Chosen have raised my expectations significantly and shown that the standard of Christian media is slowly improving. The Faithful is a new limited series done by Fox Entertainment, and it follows 3 generations of women from Genesis. It begins with Hagar and Sarah, then goes into the story of Rebecca, and ends with Leah and Rachel. Now, I've seen the first episode about Sarah and Hagar, and it covers Sarah and Abraham's betrothal, the complicated drama that results in the births of Ishmael and Isaac, and finally ends with Sarah's death and burial. Now, personally, when we talk about the technical side of things, I felt that the lighting of the scenes made it feel a little too modern, and that took me out of the story a little bit. And while the set design was incredible, it still felt too clean and took away from the full immersion the story had the potential to give. But besides this, it's a really well-shot series. Faith and doubt are ever present, with tangible portrayals of God meeting people at their lowest and showing them that He keeps His promises. The plot is entertaining and edifying, and in my opinion, would appeal to believers and non-believers alike. The first episode is narrated by Hagar, but it's focused heavily on Sarah's life. And in the narration, Hagar speaks with awe and love despite the abuse she experienced from Sarah. The filmmakers do a great job showing both the love and the jealousy that characterize these two women's relationship. It's a very interesting glimpse into what a servant or a slave's role was in this time. They were both part of the family, yet also subject to their master's will at all times. Minnie Driver does an amazing job as Sarah, but this casting decision was my biggest confusion, and is for many biblical adaptations and period films. Why is everyone British? We know where these stories took place, and it was nowhere near the UK. I digress. Despite this inaccuracy, the actors did really well portraying their characters. I love how this show handles the biblical timeline. It can be really easy as you're reading through scripture to picture everything happening within a matter of days, just by the nature of how it's written and how we read it. But The Faithful shows the years and years of struggle and frustration that led to the decision for Abraham to have a child with Hagar. It shows the progressive growth of bitterness between Sarah and Hagar. There is a specific line in the show that addressed a frustration I personally had with Abraham deciding to obey Sarah and lay with Hagar. Sarah grows bitter, and Abraham points out that it was her idea that they do this, but Sarah says you could have protested a little more. And even though the scene wasn't taken directly out of scripture, I still appreciate this sentiment, and it shows how Sarah's doubt and frustration has grown so big she feels she has to take control, but when she tries to, everything falls apart. The Bible is unique from other literature written in its time in that it tells women's stories. But how many adaptations today are told from these women's perspectives? The Faithful has a little way to go before it reaches the technical heights of House of David, but it is a strong start to a subgenre that I pray continues. I can see it really helping viewers, specifically women, better connect to the stories of our past. For content to consider, there is nothing for language. For violence, there are a couple of occasions where a man is hit or punched, but no blood is shown. Pharaoh is attacked at one point, and he is seen with blood dripping out of his ears, eyes, and nose. A dead goat is shown, but no blood is visible, and Abraham turns around holding a knife. For sexuality, when Sarah is taken captive by Pharaoh, he tells her to take her clothes off, and Hagar tells her, "It will be as it was on your wedding night." She does not take off her clothes, and there are conversations about Abraham sleeping with Hagar, but nothing graphic is said. Other than that, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah is shown from afar, with asteroids falling from the sky and fire in the distance, which might be a little disturbing for some younger viewers. For themes and worldview, doubt is ever present, specifically in Sarah's life. She is too old to have a child and has struggled with infertility all of her life, yet God promised Abraham that his bloodline will outnumber the stars. So doubt creeps in, and her response is to have her husband lie with Hagar and have a child with her on Sarah's behalf. Bitterness, contempt, jealousy, anger, all sprouted between the 3 of them. And later Sarah overhears God tell Abraham that she herself will bear a child, and she laughs. Her heart has grown cold, and despite her doubt, God remains faithful and provides her with Isaac. He turned her bitter laughter into an unshakable joy. Our God is a big God, and He does not make empty promises. In the end, I really enjoyed The Faithful. It was a point of view I had never seen before, and it added a whole new layer to the stories I know so well. There were a few technical aspects I thought could have been a little stronger, but overall, it is worth a watch and a great start to what I hope is a new subgenre of the medium. But hey, I would love to hear what you think, so don't be shy, jump into the comment section, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. We've got a ton of other fun stuff like other movie reviews, a podcast, we've got interviews. You don't want to miss any of that. And stay safe out there and continue to collide with your world for Christ.